The Chicago Bears have officially hit their bye week, the earliest possible moment for a team to pause and reset. And if there was ever a squad that could use a breather, it's this one. With 4 weeks of game tape to analyze and more questions than answers in several key areas, now is the perfect time to reevaluate and experiment. Head coach Ben Johnson even said during training camp that an early bye could be a blessing in disguise. You get a solid chunk of the season to review, identify weaknesses, and, more importantly, implement changes. And based on what we've seen so far, change feels not just necessary, it feels urgent. Let's start with one that's already bubbling beneath the surface, the left tackle situation. Braxton Jones, once considered a solid, if unspectacular starter and one of the few late-round gems discovered by the front office, appears to be headed for the bench. Reports are circulating that Theo Benedict is set to take over, and while nothing has been officially confirmed due to the team being off for the week, all signs point to that being the plan. And let's be honest, it makes sense. Jones simply hasn't been the same player he once was. Whether it's lingering issues from past injuries, a loss in confidence, or just hitting his ceiling as a fifth-round overachiever, it's clear the coaching staff no longer views him as part of the long-term solution. That's not to say Benedict is a guaranteed upgrade. He might not even be better in terms of pass protection. But the fact that he's under contract beyond this season and that the coaching staff believes he could offer more in the run game, an area where Chicago desperately needs help, gives them every reason to see what they've got. If Benedict plays at a similar level to Jones, but flashes some upside in the ground game, that alone could justify the switch. Plus, with Jones hitting free agency after the season, this is likely the front office signaling they're ready to move on. It's not a dramatic move. Nobody's pretending this is going to transform the offensive line overnight, but it's a practical one. If you've got 2 average players, and one of them might be part of your future, you give that guy the reps. And to be fair, even the most optimistic Bears fans would admit that the offensive line has been a patchwork operation all year. Injuries, inconsistency, and poor execution have all played a part. So any attempt to find stability, even if it's through trial and error, feels like a step in the right direction. Maybe Theo Benedict isn't a long-term answer, but right now, this team has to find short-term improvements wherever they can. Now, while we're talking about tweaks, let's move to a topic that's been frustrating fans week after week, the running game. Specifically, the usage of DeAndre Swift. Look, no one's denying Swift's effort. Even offensive coordinator Ben Johnson came to his defense after the Raiders game, pointing out that Swift continues to run hard despite the numbers not being where anyone wants them to be. And he's right. Swift isn't the only one to blame. The offensive line hasn't exactly opened up gaping holes, and there have been plenty of plays where Swift is getting hit before he even has a chance to make a move. But let's not sugarcoat it. Swift has left yards on the field. His yards after contact are underwhelming. His vision isn't bailing the offense out when things break down, and the advanced metrics don't lie. He's producing below expectation. Swift's not a power back. He's not a guy who's going to break a tackle, spin out of trouble, and turn a busted play into a highlight reel. So if the blocking isn't perfect, you're probably not getting much more than what's blocked. And that's a problem when you're trying to build a run-first identity or even just create some balance to take pressure off your rookie quarterback. Which brings us to Kyle Manengai. No, he hasn't exactly lit up the stat sheet either. Just a little over 60 yards on 17 carries. But dig a little deeper, and the picture starts to change. Take out one bad play against Detroit where he tried to do too much and ended up losing 8 yards. And suddenly you're looking at a guy averaging well over 4 yards per carry. That's not elite, but it's functional. And right now, the Bears would kill for functional. Even more importantly, Manengai runs with a different kind of energy. There's contact balance. There's a willingness to fight through defenders. He's not breaking off 25-yarders, but he's consistently falling forward. He's the kind of back who might not win you the game, but he's also not going to lose it. So why not give him more chances? This is a situation where you're benching a Pro Bowler to see what a rookie can do. Swift has been below average. The run game as a whole is one of the worst in the league. So give Manengai a chance. Let him have 8 or 10 carries in the first game after the bye and see what he does with them. Maybe he sparks something. Maybe he doesn't. But at this point, continuing to lean on Swift without exploring other options feels stubborn. Rotating backs is standard in today's NFL, and if you're not getting production from your starter, there's no excuse not to test the depth. Meanwhile, let's talk about the passing game, and more specifically, the underutilization of DJ Moore. Now, this is a bit of a nuanced discussion, because on one hand, rookie wideout Rome Odunze has been a revelation, no doubt about that. He's getting open, he's making plays, and frankly, he's looking like a future star. So it's understandable that the ball is going his way often. But that doesn't mean DJ Moore should fade into the background. In fact, based on some of the advanced numbers, he's been just as good, if not better, at consistently creating separation. According to a recent ESPN metric, Moore and Odunze rank first and second in the league in terms of open rate. That's not a fluke. That's a weapon that isn't being used enough. And it's not about throwing blame on Caleb Williams. He's a rookie. He's still figuring things out. The chemistry with DJ will come with time. But the coaching staff can do a better job of scheming things up to make those connections easier. That means dialing up specific looks for Moore early in the game. Build him into the opening script. Get him the ball on a screen, a slant, something quick to get him going. Because DJ Moore is too talented to be treated like a decoy and too expensive to be a footnote in the offense. And yeah, the contract matters. That's where this discussion gets tricky. Moore's cap hit is significant. And with Odunze emerging and a potential future star like Luther Burden possibly being added to the mix, it's not out of the question that Moore becomes expendable after this season. But if that's going to happen, let it be because you got everything you could out of him and decided to move on. Don't just let him quietly fade away without giving him a real shot to make an impact. He's still got game, and this team still needs production. So far, we've talked offense, and let's be real, that's where most of the problems lie, but we can't ignore the defense. And if there's one area where things need to evolve post-bye, it's with the pass rush and overall aggressiveness. The defense has been in a bit of a holding pattern for the first month of the season, largely due to injuries. But with Kyler Gordon and TJ Edwards both trending toward a return, it's time to take the training wheels off. Gordon brings a physical presence in the secondary that's been sorely missed. He's willing to stick his nose in on run plays, he can blitz off the edge, and he gives the defensive coordinator flexibility. The same goes for TJ Edwards. His instincts in the run game are sharper than Tremaine Edmunds, and he has a better feel for filling gaps and finishing plays. These aren't just warm bodies returning. These are impact players who can elevate the unit. And with those guys back, it's time to turn up the pressure. Through the first few weeks, the Bears have taken a conservative approach defensively, playing a lot of bend but don't break coverage and rarely dialing up blitzes. That made some sense while the secondary was shorthanded. But now, there's no excuse. You got playmakers healthy again. You got a defense that's already shown flashes of being able to confuse quarterbacks even without a ton of heat. So start bringing more of it. Get that blitz rate up. Make offenses uncomfortable. This team isn't talented enough to sit back and win one-on-one matchups consistently. They have to manufacture chaos. And on that note, let's talk about Austin Booker. This kid turned heads in preseason with his relentless motor and ability to win off the edge. He looked like someone who could genuinely crack the rotation in year 2. But then the injury came, and he's been stashed away on injured reserve. Now, with the bye week here and his eligibility to return kicking in, the timing is perfect. If he's healthy, he needs to be on the field. Because here's the thing, the Bears' pass rush is barely a whisper right now. They've registered just 5 sacks on the season, and they've come from 5 different players. No one's stepping up as a consistent threat. And even worse, teams aren't even double-teaming their top pass rushers. Montez Sweat and Dayo Odeyingbo rank in the bottom half of the league in terms of double-team rate, and they're still not generating pressure. That's a major red flag. So why not take a shot on Booker? Put him out there for 20 or 25 snaps. Let him pin his ears back and go after the quarterback. Worst case scenario, he's no better than the guys already on the field. Best case, you find yourself a young, hungry pass rusher who can help turn one of your biggest weaknesses into something at least functional. There's no downside to trying. And after a month of watching the current rotation fail to produce, it's time for bold moves. As the second half of the season looms, the Bears can no longer afford to wait on potential. This bye week marks the perfect moment to shift from theory to action. It's one thing to say players need to improve or that the scheme should evolve. But now is when those changes have to be made real. In practice, in game plans, in who's on the field and who's not. And that leads to the bigger question: what kind of identity is this team trying to build? That uncertainty has hovered over Chicago all year. Offensively, there's been no consistent rhythm. The play calling has been all over the place, at times aggressive, at times passive, with little sense of continuity. The Bears have talent, especially among their pass catchers, but it hasn't translated to sustained success. Part of that is the natural growing pains of a rookie quarterback. Caleb Williams is clearly gifted. His arm talent, creativity, and instincts are undeniable. But he's also learning what he can and can't get away with at the NFL level. The speed is different, the windows are tighter, and defensive coordinators are throwing every exotic look they can to rattle him. That's expected. The real test is how quickly the offense adjusts around him. Because right now, too much is being asked of the rookie. There are stretches where it feels like the coaching staff is relying on him to play hero ball, to create something out of nothing, especially when the run game disappears. That's not sustainable. No matter how talented he is, you can't ask a first-year quarterback to carry an offense without help. That's why rebalancing the attack, getting the ground game going, protecting better, leaning on safe, high-percentage throws becomes so crucial. You got playmakers. Use them smartly. Put Caleb in positions to succeed, not to survive. And that ties into the question of DJ Moore again. When your young quarterback is looking for consistency, you turn to your veterans. You lean on guys who've been in the fire before, who know how to get open and make contested catches. DJ Moore can be that guy, but he has to be featured more prominently. Whether it's quick slants, option routes, or bubble screens, get him involved early and often. The Bears are not a team that can afford to leave talent on the shelf, and Moore, when utilized properly, still has the skill set to till the defense. Then there's the issue of red zone execution. This team has struggled mightily inside the 20. Drive stall, play designs get too cute, and the margin for error, already small, disappears completely. One misread, one false start, one negative play, and everything falls apart. That has to change. The Bears need to find a handful of go-to concepts they trust near the goal line. That might mean leaning more on power runs with tight formations. It might mean spreading things out and letting Caleb pick a matchup. But it needs to be consistent. And more importantly, it needs to reflect the team's best personnel. The tight ends, for example, should be a bigger factor. Too often they're used as decoys or blockers. And while that has its place, there's value in using them to stress defenses vertically. Whether it's Cole, Cam E.T., or one of the younger guys, there should be more emphasis on creating mismatches. These are the kinds of subtle adjustments that can lift a struggling offense from mediocre to efficient. Not flashy, but effective. Before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on our Chicago Bears. And don't be shy. Drop your thoughts on the news in the comments below. Whispers are swirling across the NFL world, and if the latest chatter proves true, it could be one of the most shocking moves of the season. Sources close to the league claim that Philadelphia Eagles behemoth offensive tackle, Jordan Mailata, is on the verge of swapping the city of brotherly love for the Windy City, with the Chicago Bears emerging as his rumored landing spot. Nicknamed the Human Wall for his jaw-dropping combination of size, agility, and sheer athleticism, Mailata has been a cornerstone of Philly's offensive line. His ability to dominate edge rushers and create lanes for his teammates has earned him recognition as one of the league's most promising young linemen. Yet, the grapevine suggests that a new chapter may be unfolding in his career, a chapter that could elevate the Bears' offensive line to previously unthinkable heights. Insiders hint that the Bears, long criticized for inconsistent protection and a struggling running game, see Mailata as the missing puzzle piece. Adding him to their front five wouldn't just bolster pass protection. It could redefine the team's offensive identity. Rumor has it that the Bears management has been quietly working the phones, exploring trades and contract possibilities, and if the whispers hold water, Mailata could be walking in a Soldier Field next season as the centerpiece of a rejuvenated line. Fans and analysts alike are buzzing with speculation. Could this move finally give the Bears quarterback the pocket stability he's been craving? Will Mailata's unique combination of raw power and surprising nimbleness transform Chicago into an offensive powerhouse? The NFL rumor mill is running at full throttle, and social media is already ablaze with what-if scenarios. Philly supporters are reportedly torn. Sad to see a homegrown talent leave, but proud of the man who has become a symbol of perseverance and talent overcoming odds. While nothing has been officially confirmed, the mere possibility of Mailata in a Bears jersey has created a storm of anticipation. If this transfer materializes, it won't just be a trade. It could signal a seismic shift in the NFL landscape, sparking new debates, rivalries, and expectations. One thing is certain, wherever Jordan Mailata lands, the chatter won't stop anytime soon. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to stay updated with exclusive news about our Chicago Bears, be sure to subscribe to our channel and hit that like button. We can't wait to hear your thoughts in the comments. See you in the next video.